Hi everyone,
Hi everyone,
this is Alex,
this is John.
and welcome to our channel.
A.
Jay?
Okay,
well,
let's continue.
okay, so welcome to our channel.
Welcome to our channel, guys.
Today I wanted to talk about Casio watches, but I wanted to do something that was different from GSHOCKS. I want to talk more about budget Casios.
Okay, also called entry-level Casios, maybe.
Entry-level Casios, exactly. And I brought a couple watches today.
It's like more than a couple.
Yeah,
you're wearing one as well.
And I'm wearing one. And today I wanted to talk about how much value you can get from buying a budget or entry-level Casio, because you don't necessarily need to spend that much money on a G-Shock.
Right, because G-Shocks, they start probably $100+, right?
The cheapest one that I've ever seen was probably, I've seen one for probably $50 to $60. Very, very cheap.
Well, not these days, probably.
No, probably not these days, probably back in the day, exactly. So then I wanted to highlight different price points and also what kind of value you get.
Okay.
And perhaps maybe the first two that we should look at are the cheaper options. So what I'm going to do is let's focus in on two of the cheap options. There's this one. This is in place of the F91W that is very, very popular. I checked today's price on Amazon. In Canadian dollars, it's about $27. This one that I have here is the F94W, and this one I bought in Japan. But its features and its look is actually very similar. So I wanted to talk about that one. And which one do you have there with you on the right, Alex?
You know, this is mine. I do not have a reference number, but again, the price is roughly $25 US. I looked in the States in Walmart, and the driver for this purchase was just, wow, that's cheap.
Wow, that's cheap. Okay.
And so I had my wow factor for that watch. That's the price point.
Okay.
So that's why I bought it. But it was more just a curiosity purchase, just to see what this beast is.
Okay, all right. So a little history about this particular style of watch. A lot of people like the retro 80s style, and I believe one of Casio's cheapest offerings was the F91W, and this one is very close to an F91W, the F94W, and what we can see here is that it has water resistance. I think it's 5 bar, and it provides you with the basic functions, which is the time. It can do a timer, it can do an alarm, and it has a very what I would call not a great light. So if I show you guys the light here, you can barely see it. It's just on the left. It's super hard to see. What you have is basically what the F91W is in a more fancy case, but also yours has the electroluminescence.
Yes, and this is a newer model as well. It's thicker.
Yes.
Also.
So if I just take,
because I think the same unit goes in a thinner model as well. Let's compare it to
like the thickness is way different. This is way bigger.
Yeah.
Yes.
But don't be fooled, guys. It's still a plastic case.
Yes. It's just really shiny. And if I hit the light on here, the whole display will light up. And it has a nice green indigo. I personally really like this watch, and for I guess $30 Canadian, $25 USD. These are the watches you can get. It has some water resistance. It can do a lot for a very cheap price, and for some people, they wear it on the daily because these are extremely light watches.
Yeah. There's a fun fact. I want to challenge your knowledge about Casio watches.
All right.
Tell me, but be truthful.
Okay.
Did you hear about this option on this watch? If you press this button, like I put it here, and keep it for a few seconds,
it shows Casio.
It shows Casio.
That means it's real.
Yeah,
That's right.
This one does the same. I checked it already.
Yeah.
So, but that's really interesting. I didn't know about it until actually a few days ago.
Do you know why they have that?
No.
It's because there are a lot of fakes out there.
Okay.
Even
for this
watch,
cheap watches.
That's right. There are tons of fakes that are being produced, and they programmed it in the modules because it's hard to fake that one.
Right. Okay. That's interesting.
Yes. So why don't we move to the next price point? And,
okay. Sure.
And perhaps. So what I'll do is you can leave that one there because I'd like to compare it still. So this one is the W89H. And the main sell of this is the illuminator function. Because unlike the one that I showed you, which was about $27, this one is actually $30.
Okay.
For a couple dollars more, this one also has the luminescence function. And the main sell of this watch is two things. One, if you're a runner, you only have two buttons to worry about. And these two buttons, it's so easy to operate. And to tell you guys a little bit of a story, this model of watch was the one that I used to write my big exam, big 3-day exam. I didn't want to have a watch where I had to play with all the functions. I just needed to see that I was on time or not. And I was timing how much time I spent on each case or whatever it was. I was like, okay, only 10 minutes on here. I'm like, okay, 10 minutes passed, move on. Easy to use, easy to read, and also really simple. So for $30, you get the better light, and also I really like this style of it. The original one that I had was black.
Yeah.
But this brown one is very, very
But
handsome.
the style is also very different. You can tell that this one is a retro.
Yes.
And this one is more modern.
Correct. That's right.
And also the style is completely different. It's more like a field watch, I would say.
Yeah, it's more like a field watch.
Yeah.
Agreed.
What's the water resistance on this one?
The water resistance on this one is also 5 bar.
Okay, so not much. Like really, it probably on the edge for runners, right?
Correct.
So because you probably want 10.
Yes, you probably want 10. I would say in general, this watch, if you're looking for a watch that's not too heavy and very light and very easy to use, this one is easily one of my
They're
top
all super light.
Yeah. Yes, agreed. Now let's move on to the next level of watch.
Sure.
Okay, honestly, this watch is a novelty watch, but also really fits that retro aesthetic. This is the CA53W, or as a lot of people know it, the watch from Back to the Future. And I also call it the calculator watch. This was the smartwatch of the 80s.
Yeah. So yeah, we talked about it when it just came out in mid-80s, I think, right? For me, it was something like, wow, I wanted it. It was like super duper thingy, like which I would never probably have, I thought.
Yes.
So
it's an amazing watch. I actually got this as a birthday gift because one of my friends knew that I like Casio, but I didn't have this watch in my collection. And then what's really crazy about it is all these buttons do work. You can actually use it as a calculator.
You need to use a pen or a pencil.
Yeah. The only problem is this watch is very hard to press. So this function is more as a novelty rather than to physically use it is kind of a pain. And I'd rather do math in my head. However, how it looks is so cool. And to be honest, this is one of the most comfortable watches I've ever worn.
So is this one from actually like 1980s, or you bought it new?
I bought this new
recently.
Yes, I bought this a few years ago. So this is available in the market still. And it is sitting at around $40 right now.
Okay, I wonder if it's actually changed a lot from the original watch.
So I don't think so, because this one has a glaring weakness. It doesn't have a light.
At all?
No light.
Wow,
That's right.
quite inconvenient, but hey.
Yes. I mean, if you're trying to use a calculator at night or in a dark place, it's impossible. You won't be able to see it.
Okay.
But
you need at least a candle or flashlight.
Exactly.
To do that.
Exactly.
Okay. Interesting.
But I want you to check out one thing, Alex, which is feel this strap. This strap is actually quite different from the other straps. It's super soft. It's very malleable.
Yes, but it's also kind of thin. Like I only own one Casio watch, and I compare it to actually a G-SHOCKS Square, the 5610 model.
Yes.
And this strap it feels more comfortable, but it's like twice thinner as well.
Super thin. That's right.
It is comfortable. Yeah, it is really soft. Yep.
That's right. So even if you want to pay $10 more for a watch like this, just know that I believe its water resistance is still only 5 bar. Unfortunately, in this range, 5 bar is typically good enough for most people that don't have a lot of work or whatever they're doing that has a lot of water. So I'd say this watch is quite good for most uses. It just looks cool. Yeah, that's why I would spend the extra $10.
Cool or dorky?
Also dorky. Now this last watch is something of I call it a rarity because I tried looking online for it. It's not there.
It's discontinued now.
It's discontinued.
Okay.
And maybe it's because it's discontinued here. Like there's no supplier that has it. And this is the AE3000W. And this watch is a big honkin' watch. A lot of people know the Casio Royale, which is the square version of it, and it looks very similar to the James Bond movie one. But that one's a Seiko.
Yeah.
But this one also is probably one of my favorite watches that I don't wear. It doesn't spend a lot of time on my wrist because it's actually just so big. If you compare it to this case, it's easily 4 times bigger.
Yeah. That's insane. And it's interesting because this watch is like super light.
That's right. This watch is super
But
light.
this bezel looks like it's made of titanium, but it's actually plastic.
Yes, and I will also tell you that there is a metal version of it. It's mostly the bracelet, but it's really heavy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
So the full metal is actually full metal, including the bracelet.
Yes.
Wow.
It's just really heavy. At least I've seen it online, and people just complain that it's too heavy because the whole thing is metal. Like, okay, maybe the case is plastic, but most of it is metal.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I wouldn't want to have a full metal version because I'm okay with this design being black.
Yes.
And it looks sporty anyway.
Yes.
But when it's a full metal version, it just looks weird on the
That's
wrist.
right. It's way too big. However, this watch is for a very specific kind of person. The kind of person that this is for is if you need to look at different time zones at all times and have a good idea of what exactly is the time difference, this watch is for you because it displays this watch's main feature is that world time. And it has that globe right here as a nice complication, and it has our current time zone. It's in Denver time, and then I have Tokyo here because I love keeping track of what time it is in Tokyo.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
then the second one is Bangkok, but also it's the same time zone as Vietnam because I have some relatives there. So I like to call them. So whenever I use this watch, I can kind of see, oh, what time is it there? Maybe I can give them a call.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure you could program your phone to do that. But this watch is super cool.
Yeah, and you showed me how you change time zone, and it also shown on this globe, like it's running band.
That's right. That's right.
It looks super cool.
And the way that it rotates, it will rotate at like if you need to change where you're at or which time zone you want as the main, it has that. And this is why I think this watch is really cool. Because of its size, I think its module is actually much more complicated. You can actually do a lot of programming. It has 5 alarms, and this one has 10 bar water resistance.
Okay.
For some reason,
that's way better.
And this
you can swim in it.
You can swim in it. And in 2017, I bought this watch for only $45.
Okay.
On the secondary market, I think you can buy it for probably around $70 to $90 now. Because I think it's discontinued here. There may be some suppliers that have it, but like the main suppliers that I'm looking at are like Amazon now, and they don't have it.
Okay, interesting. No, I think this watch would be great if you travel a lot.
That's right.
The only one flaw is it's not solar, right? So
Yes, correct.
If it would be,
yes, it'd be perfect.
Yes, that would be a perfect watch.
If it had the solar, this is amazing because look at how much surface area there is to collect the energy.
Yeah.
And also, one of the features I like about it is its screen is so legible. It's so easy to see the time. And it's so easy to see everything, all the information that you need in a glance.
It's easy to read, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So then if I had to say, the only other feature that I really like about it is its light is actually quite good. It's not the electro lume though. So I've actually turned this up all the way to 3. It has 2 lights, both on
2 lights.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So there's on the bottom right and bottom left, there are 2 lights that you can see. It's very legible as well, but I really wish that they had the electroluminescence.
Yeah. Well, newer models, if it was still in production, I bet it would have it.
Yes, and unfortunately, this watch you can't really find it, but there's tons of watches in this line. In the AE World Timeline, there's so many different styles and variations. You'll probably find one that you like. And the price is probably around $45 to $50, really. High value, but it's not a G-Shock.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if it comes in different colors as well.
So for this particular one, it was only this one and the metal one.
Oh, okay.
And unfortunately, I know that the current production, there's lots of colors, lots of blue,
Yes, that's what I'm asking.
Gray, yeah.
Exactly.
But for this watch, I think it's because it's not that popular.
Okay, well, probably because of its size. So you said that you bought it in 2017, so
Yes.
that time was already known for big watches being trendy.
That's right.
So I don't know why it's not popular.
Yeah.
It's a puzzle to me.
I hope that they bring this one back in production.
Oh, they can.
And they upgrade some of the stuff like the light. But otherwise, I really like this design. Like the globe to me is the most attractive part about it. When I look at it, like this is so cool. All the other world time ones, they have basically, it looks like a map. Right? It looks like a map, and it's basically a rectangle. But I prefer the globe.
Yeah, interesting. Let me ask you this question.
Sure.
So, John, you have more expensive watches.
Yes, I do.
So, how much time actually these watches find on your wrist?
Okay. So I can tell
Do
you.
you still wear them?
For this one, I actually haven't thought about this watch in years. So since 2017, I probably only worn this 10, 15 times, really. However, if we're talking about these other watches, this calculator watch, I wear this all the time. This one easily spends like a whole bunch of weekends. I just wear this continuously. Every weekend, let's put it on. Because it's so comfortable, this one's a high value, high usage watch. Unfortunately, this one was for exams, so I haven't really used it since. I just like it, and I wear it occasionally. And then this one that I bought from Japan, I actually wear this a lot at home.
Okay.
It has a lot of wrist time. So I didn't spend that much, but you'll see that the cheapest one spends the most time on my wrist.
Okay. Well, it's interesting because with me, I noticed that when I go to more expensive watches, the cheaper ones spend more time in the box.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
I was curious about you, how often you wear these watches, because they are entry-level watches, right?
That's right. That's right.
So, for whom would you recommend these watches? Is it a must-have for Casio lovers or Casio collectors, or it's more just an intro into this hobby?
I would say that these
Like a first step.
A first step. I'd say these watches are really perfect for anybody that wants a comfortable watch, because G-SHOCKS generally are bigger watches.
Yeah.
There's definitely no shortage of colors and variations in G-SHOCK, but for the cheaper budget entry-level Casios, I'd say any of these watches can last you for a long time. You know, I bought this watch in 2017. It's still running. I haven't had to change the battery. It'll probably run for another couple years, no problem.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I had to recommend one that's an everyday beater,
Let's do this.
no matter who, whether you're a fan of G-SHOCK or Casios in general, get an F91W. This one is an F94W, or get this one.
Yeah.
You won't regret it because it's so light.
Well, you won't regret it because it's cheap, but to be honest with this one, and I know you have a similar model, so for me, there's only one issue. The way this bracelet is made, it pulls hairs on it.
Pulls hairs, yeah.
It's sometimes like super uncomfortable.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, because these watches are so cheap, if you're buying the metal bracelet, it is not good. Like, you should replace them with something better. If you're buying the plastic ones or the resin ones, they're totally fine, very comfortable. However, I do like the look of this one. This one is.
It looks quite nice,
and
reminds me about my childhood as well, like when
exactly.
these watches were just introduced and were super popular.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're a Casio lover in general, I'd say give this watch, any of these watches, a try.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're so cheap, and honestly, if you're buying a whole bunch of G-SHOCKS anyways, this is probably in your budget.
Yeah. And even if you don't like it, just give it to your kid.
Exactly.
Right?
It's good for anybody, any age, really. These watches are awesome.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
All right.
Nice. Well, thank you, John, for sharing with me your knowledge of Casio watches and showing me about your collection. Appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you for sharing with me your experience with this watch, and also just to kind of hear about these other options that are out there for people.
Okay. Well, that's great. Well, thank you for watching, guys, and I guess we'll see you next time.
See you next time, and please like, comment, and subscribe to us. We'd love to keep making more content for you, and hopefully the next topic we'll do even more watched videos.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, well, thank you, John.
Thank you, Alex.
Bye, guys.
Bye.